here today is Melissa Williams. She is the executive director for Every Child Central Oregon. So, interesting fact, Melissa used to be in the mortgage industry. She actually worked for Guild Mortgage, and she kind of, her and I talked about this one day prior to me working at Guild. She just woke up and decided she wanted to do something different and something that had more meaning, and she started researching nonprofits, and she found Every Child and reached out to them, and I believe it was Portland. I'm like, remember, this conversation was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so that's a couple of, good job.
Yeah, well, and so she reached out to them, and they were actually looking at expanding over to this area, and so it was perfect timing, perfect fit. She's done an amazing job. She's been here to speak to us before, so we're excited to hear what's going on and what she says. And she's a graduate of U of O, so some of you I know will appreciate that, and others won't.
We're still licking our wounds from that Washington game. I don't want to talk about it. Hi, everyone. I had a thought. I don't know how the sound's going to work for this. So I'm going to play a quick video. This video was just recently shot with some of our volunteers, some of our staff here in Central Oregon, and a foster parent. So we were really excited to have Northwest Collective do this video for us. No sound. No? Oh, geez. Oh, man, guys.
That's not you.
That's not it. I made a crucial mistake somewhere. I hit the up and down thinking it was sound. Sound like that. We did problem solve everything except the sound. It's muted on the TV. Oh, there we go. Let's do a little test.
Ever since as a teenager, I knew my passion was to help children in need.
I'll just start it one more
As a
time.
teenager, I knew my passion was to help children in need. I'm a single foster resource parent, and I have a love from family and a friend. But as they say, it takes a village to raise a child, and that is so true. Everybody can do something. If it's not, time for you to jump in and be a foster resource family, there's so many ways to contribute.
The neat thing about Every Child, the wonderful thing about Every Child, is that we provide avenue to be able to come into this space and show up. Right now in the state of Oregon, historically speaking, there is a real crisis. There are simply not enough homes and care. The greatest thing about Every Child is that we provide a way for anyone to step into this. And you don't have to become a foster parent, although of course that is something that we're striving for and looking for. But you can do anything from building a box to cooking a meal for someone. If at some point foster care and becoming a parent is your calling, that's fantastic. But everyone has an opportunity to show up in this space and make a difference.
I mean, you can provide direction that will impact the rest of their lives and the decisions that they make. And so it's that initial love and care that helps in small ways, but then if you be consistent with that, it will impact them for the rest of their lives.
To get to meet a family, a foster parent, a child that is in the situation they're in, and to be able to just have it feel seen, I think that's what I'm most excited for. Just so they don't feel alone. That there's a community around them, even if they don't know that quite yet.
They deserve a voice. Everybody deserves a voice, and a child deserves to be a child. So if you have that ability to assist, I think it's the right thing to do. I'm so excited to be part of this. It's great.
I just felt a pull to want to have a bigger impact on children. And so that eventually led me to becoming a full-time foster parent. I just started signing up and said, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try to have impact on a child on every single day.
That's what it's all about. And it will make an impact. Whether you see it or not, it does.
I love this video because, one, it's local folks and our partners at First Interstate Bank who do quite a bit with every child.
I got a photograph of my girlfriend Johnson.
I do know how to turn it off. I figured that one out. I'm going to put it down there. Turn me off just a minute. Okay. Our local partners, and really it tells a story that is our dream story. So every child exists so that one day every child that enters foster care has an appropriate foster home. That is our heart, that is our mission. Everything that we do is going to be looking through that lens. However, we recognize not everybody is in a place, position, or time of life or season to become a foster parent. So we offer lots of different on-ramps for businesses, groups, individuals to come alongside those impacted by foster care. We love this story. Nina, the foster parent, she was a neighborhood volunteer with us. So neighborhoods take 3 to 4, probably 5 to 6 people, wrap them around one local foster family. Each neighborhood provides 2 meals a month and 1 act of kindness. And through doing that and making that 6-month commitment, she realized she could become a foster parent. And she didn't think it was in her life, her season, but she always kind of had something inside of her. So not only did she serve another family, but then she became certified, and then our friends at First Interstate Bank created a neighborhood and are now wrapping around her here locally. So it is kind of that dream scenario where we get to see the fullness of why we're doing what we're doing, because we find that foster families are hard to find. Good ones are even harder to find. And sometimes there's a lot of fear and misconceptions around it. So getting closer to families doing the work has proven to be far more successful in recruiting families than marketing. And marketing's great too, and we still do a lot of that. We still do a lot of storytelling. But experience, relationship, and close connection really matter. We know that as Kiwanis, and all of us being a part of something matters. So every child, we obviously recruit foster families. We have a huge arm that handles marketing, emails, calling people, and ensuring that anyone who is interested, ever thought about it, that we are reaching out to them in a timely manner. And then we're actually partnering with child welfare, and we give them only kind of hot leads. You guys are all in business, so you understand that terminology. So we screen folks, and so our partners at child welfare aren't spending their time calling and calling people that are never going to call them back. So only those that are all the way ready to sign up now, get to them. And then we have a huge tangible arm. And I'm excited to announce 2.5 months ago, we rented a warehouse here in Redmond. So me, and 5 others started Every Child Central Oregon in 2019. Nobody told me, coming from the mortgage industry, that starting a nonprofit in 2019 was a terrible idea. And that there was going to be a global pandemic, and that I couldn't do in-person fundraisers, but whatever. Here we are. Not only have we continued to grow, we've grown at a rate unprecedented across the state of Oregon because the needs are great in Central Oregon, and we serve Tri-County and Warm Springs, so the sheer geographical area that we cover is massive. So we have a warehouse now in Redmond that houses diapers, car seats, wipes, clothes, welcome boxes, shoes, bikes, toys for kids when they enter foster care. So I've been there every day the past 3 weeks setting up infrastructure, and every day I've had 3 caseworkers stop by, CASA stop by, foster parents come by and leave with their hands full. Most children coming into care are coming with nothing. We're seeing that more and more with the rise of fentanyl because everything can't be brought with them due to the risk of fentanyl. So kids are coming with just the clothes on their back, and we offer and have a place for workers to come and grab everything they need to set up the foster parent for success, at least for 24 hours, sometimes 48, depending on what we have in stock. So that is one arm of our business. Recruitment is the other one, and then volunteering. So like I said, we have neighborhoods. We love neighborhoods. We actually have a need for more neighborhoods in Redmond. So I want to say that today. Neighborhoods is a 6-month commitment, 4 to 5 people, 2 meals a month, 1 act of kindness. Acts of kindness can be anything from, hey, your lawn needs mowed, I'm gonna stop by and mow your lawn, to here's a coffee, I know you have court today and that's gonna suck, and I wanna drop off a coffee or send you an encouraging text. We have neighborhoods that go like way above and beyond, so I don't wanna set the precedence here, but I love this story. They just did a caroling for their family. So they rallied a bunch of their friends, guitars and instruments, and showed up at their house and Christmas caroled for the kids. They also took them school clothes shopping and helped out the foster parent, because she's a single provider, just with a little bit of a break. So it's a great opportunity for businesses, groups, church groups, Bible study groups, any 4 to 5 people who already have an existing relationship. That works better than pulling 4 to 5 random people together. And like I said, we have 2 foster families in Redmond on the wait list that would love a neighborhood. And then we also have Foster Parent Night Out, which we host in Redmond and Bend. It's once a month respite for foster families. All kids in their house get to go for 4 hours. We partner with Hayden Homes here in Redmond and Mountain View Fellowship to put that event on monthly. And it's not just like pizza and a movie. It is bounce houses, themes. We're talking like superheroes, art, sensory rooms, crafts, a full meal, and then they often bag up extras of the meal and send it home with the foster family so they don't have to worry about dinner that night. So that is a little bit about us. I'm happy to share more data on foster care, whatever you guys want to talk about, but I'm gonna let you ask me some questions. Yes, ma'am.
What is your biggest need right now?
Our biggest need right now, I would say, one, we are looking for warehouse volunteers that want to come and spend some time in our warehouse, organizing and helping. Obviously financial, it's year-end giving, so that is always a need. And then board members. We could use some board members. So anyone here that has board experience or not and cares about kids and wants to get involved, I would love to connect you with our board president. We have a few people rolling off next year. Yes, sir.
How many kids are you working with, families in Central Oregon?
So about 400 kids spend at least 1 night in care every single year in Central Oregon. We serve, though, everyone within the child welfare spectrum. So that means from child welfare goes out and maybe they don't remove the kids, but there's some items they could use to help keep those kids in home. We serve that family. We serve kids in foster care, which is that 400 number, and then we also serve families in reunification. So we serve over 1,000 families a year.
What kind of connection, if any, do you have with the homeless community or children in Central Oregon?
The homeless community?
Yeah, I mean, do you do much work with those folks?
Yeah, we
Kids.
like firsthand do not, but like I said, we're kind of the first line of defense for child welfare CPS workers. So we're very well aware of needs and situations going on in homeless camps where items are needed for kids. So we provide a lot of diapers out there, a lot of hygiene items, clothes for youth in the camps
And
with
do
parents.
you you work to place some kids too that are in situations where they really can't be in a homeless environment?
We do not work to place kids. We recruit foster families. We send them to DHS. DHS does the placing of children.
Okay.
So we are aware, and our contract with them allows us to see the placement desk requests. So every day I get an email that shows me exactly which kids, how old, and what the needs are in Central Oregon and who they're looking for placement for. So we have a very high tap on what's going on in our community. And I can share our most common are teenagers.
Yeah.
Youth that identify in the LGBTQ community. We always have need for homes that are affirming and accepting. And then sibling groups. Sibling groups of 3 and larger are our highest needs. And even babies, which everyone thinks babies would be easy to place, but they're not as much in Central Oregon because childcare is so expensive. So that is a real need.
Also, do you have a wish list on your website that we can go to and donate?
For Christmas?
Or Christmas or just-
Christmas is
or the
closing.
warehouse?
It's Christmas this week in every child and foster care world, so we have sent out over 400 gifts already this week, and I have about 75 more that go out on Friday to our partners in Warm Springs. But we do have every single day on our My Neighbor page our updated current needs that we don't have in our warehouse. So you'll see anything on there from sports fees, specialty items, things that youth in foster care are needing. And you can see those there or just give towards those needs on that page as well. And I can hand out something with that info at the end. I'm sorry, you had a question. I apologize.
I didn't follow that comment about fentanyl. Would
Yeah.
you mind explaining what?
Yeah, absolutely. So those fentanyl, do you understand, you know what fentanyl is?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know how far back I wanted to go. So whenever fentanyl is involved, whenever children are removed from a home, let me back up, it is an assessment of risk and danger to that child to stay in that home. When fentanyl is involved, the risk level skyrockets because it is such a dangerous substance that touching it, getting on clothes, can kill a child, especially a young child. So whenever drugs are involved and if it's tested and fentanyl is part of it, the child has to leave their personal items there the majority of the time. Whereas when fentanyl is not involved, they can pack some clothes, a stuffed animal, a blanket, a toy. So there's a very great need, and we're seeing a high rise in the amount of items we're providing when children are removed. Does that help?
Yes. Just thinking of a child separated from his blankie or whatever soft toy that he loves because he can't take it with him.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's a tragic situation. So not only are you being separated from your family and the environment you've ever known, but all of your stuff is often staying as well. So it is a joyous thing when we have kids come to the warehouse all the time and they get to shop. And we have a huge toy section from leftovers from Christmas and birthday gifts and our continuous. So we let them take whatever, not whatever they want, but within reason, pick some items and have some ownership and rebuild those pieces as best we can.
Oh, one
Yeah.
minor thing I've heard about a number of times, that foster kids have no luggage. They have to use big plastic
Trash
bags
bags.
to lug their stuff. Now you're saying they don't get to carry anything.
Yeah, so the luggage, there was a great need for bags. You know, people were using trash bags. That was 100% true. There are some great nonprofits that are national that provide duffel bags and luggage to DHS, and then we even have some in our warehouse that we hand out, so we no longer take luggage. I get a lot of calls about that. But, you know, some kids have a lot of stuff and some kids don't. It's a varying of situations. But either way, they have something to put it in now. So thank you. That's a great question. Yes, sir.
And no, traditionally, there's been a problem nationwide with kids aging out the system as far as housing, employment, a whole range of things. Any news, good news on that front at all? No. Okay.
No, I wish. I mean, the data around children aging out of foster care is horrifying. If you look at the percentage of kids that age out, I mean, 98% immediately go into poverty. You're dealing with less than 2% will ever graduate college. It is dire situation. And we have to recognize when a child is older and comes into foster care, they're missing often some life skills and ability to do things and attachment and trust, and often missing some schoolwork too, and like how to hurdle into that next phase of life. And with no mentorship and guidance into that, it becomes really difficult.
Where do they age out from? Families that don't get the money anymore? And
so families that don't take guardianship of them. And there is guardianship assistance, so it's not a money thing. It's just sometimes that's not what happens. Or the kids bounce too much and they don't actually have a place.
Right.
So that's really common. One thing on your homelessness comment, I just did some research, and 50% of homeless population in the United States were in the child welfare system at one point in their life. So the more we go back to it, the more foster care matters, and changing that system, because it funnels into every other major systemic issue we are working against right now. And I think my time is up. I can feel it.
I just wanted to say one quick comment.
Yeah.
When we talked last week, you mentioned shelving and storage for the warehouse.
Yeah.
So,
We could use some shelving and some storage for the warehouse.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And volunteers. And I'll leave these for you all. I have some contact cards, so if you want to connect with us, if you want to learn more about anything I talked about, fill one of these out, and we'll get in touch with you, someone from my team or myself, depending on what box you check. You want to make a donation? I got envelopes. I got an annual newsletter, whatever you need. So I'm here, and I'll be around for a little bit, and I'll leave those at this table up here.
Well, Melissa,
Yes.
thank you so much. You know, it takes a strong heart to do the important work you're doing, and we're so grateful for you in this community. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I have a little gift for you. Oh, this is a handcrafted Kiwanis pen.
I got one of these ones before, and I loved it.
Well,
I wrote it out of ink.
Will you mind taking a pic with me?
No, I won't. Let me put down my stuff so I'm not holding as much.
I tried to get that excited.
Let me hold my.
I quite got that.
I can be excited again, don't worry.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Last question. Heart of Oregon Corps does work with individuals through age 25.
Yes.
So, because foster only takes them through
19.
high school, age 18.
Yeah, 18. You can stay in foster care up until 21 under some certain
Oh.
circumstances, but there's some pretty high overlays there. And Oregon has done a lot of work around making college free for youth that were in foster care, but we gotta get kids through high school and to the next level before we're like investing in free college.
Yeah.
When the rate from high school to college isn't great,
Yeah.
but that's a different rant for a different day. I'll keep going.
Well, it sounds like Melissa's going to stay for just a few minutes if you have any more questions. And in honor of Melissa and our guests, anyone who does anything to help a child in one's life is a hero. Fred Rogers.
If anybody wants to sign up to